Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be a video all about how Flash can defeat Savitar this season. A lot of you were also asking about Eddie Thawne stuff, so I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But there is going to be a new round of the Flash Ring giveaway when I post my Flash video. Just be sure to subscribe to get everything. Make sure you click that bell to enable alerts so you don't miss it. In order to defeat Savitar, there are a couple really important steps along the way and a couple things that have to happen. So 1, Savitar is a being that exists in this state between life and death. He's almost complete speed force. That's how powerful he is. That's why his lightning is white. So it's not like you could just stab him and he would bleed out and that'd be the end of it. It also involves Barry learning about his true connection with the Speed Force. They've kind of started that this season. You've learned a little bit about that. So the next big important idea is that Barry will have to die in a sense this season. There's a couple different ways that you could die. He's already shown that he's willing to do anything to save Iris, and that includes giving up his own life. There are really 3 big ways that Barry could die this season on The Flash. 1, Savitar is able to kill him outright. He's pretty fearsome already. Barry's already proven that he's not enough to defeat him by himself. 2, Barry could offer himself as a sacrifice to try and save Iris. And then 3, he could also try to pull Savitar back into the Speed Force, become pure energy himself, and try to battle him across space-time for the rest of existence just to contain him so that he couldn't hurt the people that he loved. That last one, becoming pure energy, I'll address at the end of the video because it has to do with how Savitar is able to manifest his Speed Force armor. So I'll explain that at the end of this, but we gotta talk about Barry rushing to judgment. If there's anything he proved last season, it's that he's really good at rushing in before he completely thinks through all the possibilities. I know there were a lot of comments last year after Barry willingly gave his speed to save Wally and the others. He had gone through the tachyon device, he'd finally been able to beat Zoom, but then Zoom used his humanity against him. He used the love that Barry has for all the people around him against him. And there is no one right now that he loves more than Iris. So not only are his enemies willing to use that against him, this is a critical weak point because of what's happening to Iris at the end of the season if they don't change things. Everybody has all kinds of theories about how they're going to save Iris. Maybe they're using one of Harrison Wells' holograms that we saw in a previous episode. They tend to do that on The Flash. They'll tee up an idea, and it's actually getting ready to happen. They're teeing up something that will let you know what's going on with the Black Flash when he eventually shows up too. But that's kind of a separate thing because the Black Flash is death itself to a speedster. So Barry's going to be learning a lot about death this season. I know it sounds bad, but it's actually really exciting. The Black Flash is badass, and he is not Zoom. Zoom became the Black Flash. So when we say that he's coming back as the Black Flash. Zoom himself is not coming back. But the thing is if Barry is not successful or he has to pull a hard left turn, go against the group, and sacrifice himself because there's no way Team Flash would let him do that, give up his own life. What would happen in the fallout after that? Well, we already know that we have Wally West, Kid Flash on the show. The whole thing this first half of the season has been in introducing him and some of the other Flash family members like Jay Garrick and Jesse Quick. They step in to fill the void. But the thing is that in the comics, after Crisis on Infinite Earths, they tease that in the Season 2 finale, which I'll explain in a second, Barry basically sacrifices himself to save the universe. Wally West picks up the mantle and becomes the main version of the Flash. He wears a red costume that looks like this. Now, it seems like he's wearing Barry's costume, but they change it just a little bit. There are a few subtle differences, like with the nose piece. But that was the ginger version of Wally West. You have to imagine the TV show Wally West is an amalgam of those two things. And the cool thing about the ginger Wally West in the comics that they just brought back is that he still has the red costume, but it looks like a version of his yellow Kid Flash costume. And they've teased that we're going to see a future version of something that's really special and comic booky. They didn't say which show it was going to be from, but it could totally be a future version of Wally who has already picked up the mantle of Flash and is wearing a red version of the costume. Now, the other option is future version of Barry Allen, but the whole idea this season is that he's trying to kill Barry. And even though there will never be a Flash TV show without Grant Gustin, they'll always bring him back. What they do is they find ways to show you potential futures or alternate realities like Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 19, where things went very, very different. They have a lot of ways to make things happen, but then take them back. So even though the TV show's combining a couple Mark Waid story arcs to do the back half of the season, it's Terminal Velocity, which is the story about how they learn what the Speed Force is and how Wally West, that version of the Flash, becomes fully powered, and then the Savitar arc, which came a little bit after that. But obviously they've changed the way that Savitar looks. He's an armored speedster. They've actually done something really cool where they're combining ideas from those Mark Waid stories, where the Wally West version of the Flash, who is the only Flash at the time, Barry Allen, is still dead and gone. People don't know that he's coming back later. So they don't know what the Speed Force is yet. They just know that they draw from something that they call the speed field, and it explains why none of them can run at the same speed, why some are faster than others. You learn about the deep connection that Wally has with the Speed Force. It's the same for Barry Allen, but you learn how when speedsters die, their heaven is the Speed Force. They become one with that energy. So Wally learns that he can tap into that and become even more powerful, but in doing so, he will lose his humanity. He'll have to leave all his friends behind. I explained a little bit about this in my Flash Powers video, so I'll add a link at the end of this. But basically, that's one of two options that Barry has this season. He either lets Savitar kill him outright, or two, he becomes so powerful that he becomes a god speedster like Godspeed or Savitar, who's dubbed himself the God of Speed, and starts to look like him as well. So this is where we get into the Savitar twist, because why does he look like that? Why doesn't he look like a normal person? All the other speedsters we've seen, even Zoom, who was crazy fast, still wore a relatively normal leather-looking costume. So what is up with the armor? Well, in the Rebirth comics, the really cool thing that the ginger Wally West, who has come back out of the Speed Force, tells Barry, he sort of makes fun of him a little bit because he's still using the flash ring to get his suit out. He says, haven't you learned about Speed Force constructs making the suit directly out of the Speed Force? So the suit itself is basically just Speed Force manifested into that material. So he doesn't need the flash ring, and that is probably why Savitar has that armor. It's not like he climbs into a suit of armor, he just manifests it himself. He wears it around because that's how he exists. The idea that he's become so powerful that he's ceased to be human, but because of the way he got his powers, Barry was able to trap him in the Speed Force in the future. So the whole explainer about why Savitar is stuck in the Speed Force if he's so powerful kind of gets into the logic of the Speed Force, so I'll probably do a bonus video for that in the next couple of weeks once we learn a little bit more about TV show Savitar. Sometimes they change things, it's not always exactly like the comics, but I have a pretty solid idea about why that is, and it has to do with the way he's connected to the Speed Force and the different way that Barry and Wally are connected to the Speed Force. Here's the thing though, even if Barry goes away in present day, he gets sucked up into the Speed Force and learns to enhance his power, becomes this god of speed himself, that doesn't mean that Wally would immediately start wearing the red costume. I would hope that they would go with this design rather than have him just wear Barry's suit. So I don't think that it's going to happen in present day, but it is totally possible that in a Flash forward, either on Legends of Tomorrow or on The Flash, we will see Wally West in the red costume calling himself the main version of the Flash in a time period when Barry Allen has died. Because when you talk about the Reverse Flash, he's from the 25th century, that's from a time when there is no Flash, there's no Speed Force, so the way he gets his powers is really cool. We can talk about that when he comes back, because Jeff Johns sort of rewrote a lot of his continuity before Flashpoint. It's this really cool story too that I'm hoping that the TV show does. You guys can let me know though. Do you think that we're going to get a flash of a version of Barry Allen dying on the TV show in an attempt to try and save Iris? Do you think that they're going to try and play with our heads that way? Because each season he's lost his powers for a brief period of time, and the next logical step would be for him to give up his life and go into the Speed Force to continually battle Savitar to keep him at bay so that he wouldn't be able to kill the people that he loved. But like I said, just remember, there will never be a Flash TV show without Grant Gustin as the main version of the Flash, so this is all just flashes of potential futures that they'll show us. People always freak out when they're like, is Wally getting faster than Barry? Don't worry about that kind of stuff. In present day, Barry will always be the fastest version of the Flash. Just to briefly address the Eddie Thawne stuff, they were posting pictures from the set like, yay, so good to be back. So they're filming the episode that he's in, which sounds like it might be episode 18, but it looks like it might end up being a flashback. So when we get some more information, I'll talk about it more, but we do know that Eddie is coming back, so I know everyone's really excited about that. what's gonna happen next is I'll probably do a video for Jerome returning on Gotham. He's basically their de facto New 52 Joker, but he's taking a lot of inspiration from Mark Hamill's version of the Joker. So I'll explain what's going on, because he basically just came back from the dead. So there'll be that and a new episode of The Flash tomorrow night too. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here for more Flash episodes, and you can click here to learn about the Flash's greatest power this season. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you in the next video.